Hello, and welcome to Andrew Broussard Watercolors. Today, I want to play around with some Conte crayons. I opened up a brand new matchbook of the Conte crayons. They're a little over $4 on Blick and Jerry's Artorama, and some other websites I've seen them as high as maybe $6 or more. But you get your four colors. I'll probably just play within either white and black, maybe the sanguine. We'll see. Just want to kind of sketch and have fun. So I picked up this paper, Gray Recycled Sketch from, so it's Master's Touch. I got it from Hobby Lobby. 30% recycled paper, but all of the information I think matches up to, I want to say, Strathmore's 400 series. So I'm curious if it's the same exact paper, but with just a different frontispiece, whatever you'd call the front page of it. Anyway, so I got the, what is this? This is the gray recycled. I have the tan toned. There's some blue out there that I want to try. But anyway, I'm going to use those and use that as my mid-tone and just play around. Very poor introduction. I apologize, but I really just want to jump into it and sketch and have fun. So this usually stems into me experimenting with portraits and then more still lives, and that's probably a good thing, because sometimes I get very bogged down with landscapes, and when I spend a lot of time away from any type of portrait or still life stuff, I get very, very rusty from it, and then I come back to it and I remember how much I love doing these types of works. And having picked up a large quantity of surfaces to oil paint on, I plan on just creating a lot of pieces and just having a lot of fun. Next week is Mardi Gras break, so that'll give me a lot of time to paint and create. Oh, and of course, if you enjoy these videos, simply liking and subscribing really helps the channel out a lot. And down below I have links to the Patreon if you want to support on there. And in addition to that, I'm experimenting with a little Kickstarter to see how that would work, and if people would have interest in kind of funding series through Kickstarter. So I have that linked down below. But honestly, anything you click or do, it just really helps the channel out. So thank you in advance, and thank you for those that support. So anyway, back to the Conte. Now, with Conte, I believe I was first exposed to it probably back in college at Stony Brook, and I remember it being scratchy and not really enjoying it. And then I got back into Conte at UL, and I'm not sure if there we were still using it as just kind of a sketching medium. And then from there, long hiatus, and then getting back into art, I always wind up picking up the little packs of the Conte. And they first got taken out again recently after looking at some portrait work by Mad Charcoal. Mad Charcoal has amazing works, time lapses, and tutorials on YouTube. So there was that. Then I think every so often, I think I kind of go through cycles of different artists that I'm looking at. And I was looking at Fantin Latour, who was a master painter of flowers, and looking at his works and kind of sketching from them in the black and the white Conte was a lot of fun. And then from there, I immediately had thought, oh wait, I need to get back to using toned paper so that I can use that as the middle value, use my sanguine to kind of start shaping things out, using my black for my darker values, and then my white for my highlights and my letter values. Something that I'm not super skilled in at all, but after a little bit of practice, it starts to become a lot of fun, and it does become aesthetically pleasing. Yeah, Hammy, aesthetically pleasing. Hammy disagrees. Anyway, so on top of that, I had picked up some of the toned paper, and I have some of the toned mixed media paper, but I'm trying to conserve that and use more of the sketching paper for some of these videos to just have fun and not spend too much money, because the Conte itself is a little pricey. I think there are some alternatives at this point for it, but I think New Pastel is one of the alternatives that people use, but I just really don't know, and I'm not really sure where to look and ask those type of questions. Anyway, it also brings in my interest in the Trois crayons, which is your sanguine, your black, your white, for portrait work. So a lot of doors will open up with these experiments and this playing around. I have a small little still life set up behind and on an angle between a light and my tripod. I have a broken piece of black here, yeah. Never quite sure what to do with the super small broken pieces. And I am thinking that in this run of experiments, and not today, but in future ones, I'll sharpen some of these Conte pieces to a point, to a chiseled edge. That's what they always say, you could sharpen it to a chiseled edge. So the fake flowers that I'm looking at are actually red, so I'm going to use, I think, a decent amount of the Conte there. I think in future videos I might just explore the black and white, the pushing back and forth. I think that'd be two crayon. Doigt, is that how you say two in French? I live in Louisiana, but growing up in New York, we learned Spanish in school. There's some schools down here in Louisiana that offer French as the language to learn for your, I guess, language requirement. The Conte itself, and I did a little bit of looking into it, and I have a few different of their pieces. Within the Sanguine, they have 18th century, so they have their natural standard one that comes in the matchbook, which is kind of on the orange side, especially after looking at some of the other ones. They have the 18th century, which is, I think, kind of redder, and it's closer to, it's very similar to what they call the Watteau one. So they have those two as well. Then from there they have the Medici, which is the darkest. But a pack of 4, so the matchbook ones come with the natural sanguine. You can get a pack of 12 of just the sanguine sticks for, I think, 15 was the cheapest I saw. Then the Medici, the Watteau, and the 18th century, those are all on the more $20 side for 12. You could buy packs of 2 of those. What was the price on those? 2 something, or maybe 3? You'd have to look them up. Anyway, like I said, there are alternatives that I've seen on the market or started hearing about. And like I said, I'm not too sure where to look and ask questions. I think Wet Canvas might be the place to ask that. But I kind of prefer more of a Facebook type community to ask questions on. I think there's just a little bit more of a real-time response. But they have those. They also have, what else do they have? I think Cretacolor might make something, or there might be like a Pitt crayon, but I think they only really have 1 or 2 colors. Of course, there's oil pastels. What the difference is between these and oil pastels, I'm not sure. That's another thing to look up. It's a lot of thought and speculation as I just kind of just play with texture on these flowers. I'm trying to think of how people describe Watteau as painting each individual flower and giving each one their own characteristic, rather than painting the symbol of a flower. So just looking at those. They do make them in pencil form if you don't like getting the chalk or the wax on your hands. But I am just absolutely terrible at sharpening them. So last summer was my big kick of getting back into these type of materials with portrait exploration and just studying works and just practicing stuff. And I picked up some Conte pencils, and you could sharpen them, with a knife, razor blade. And I just kept on breaking the, it's not lead, but what would be the lead. So I was trying to pull the wood back quite a bit, sharpen them to a point. I may just not have the correct touch or the patience for it, which kind of sounds like a cop-out, but I need to maybe readdress those and figure that out. Also, I have a ton of fake flowers for references and still life stuff. And the fake flowers, maybe somebody can answer this very easily. Coming on the long stem, I'm wondering if I should just cut them at points, because I have to kind of fold them to fit them in to vases. Oddly enough, talking about Fantin Latour and his delicate approach, or his approach to giving each flower a personality, a part of me wants to take leaves and just put them in as an idea and as a symbol. I think I was talking about different mediums or like alternatives, and I'm just not versed in these type of mediums, but I did really like the Derwent colored pencils, or I guess those sketching pencils. I think they're a little waxy. I really like those. They're kind of more muted, or at least the set that I had gotten. I picked that up last summer as well, and I'm sure that's going to make an appearance soon again. And when I had placed my last order with Blick, I saw that the oil pastels, the single packs of Van Gogh brand, I think it's Van Gogh brand, were on sale. I'm not sure how much they usually go for. I would love a reference on how to oil paint flowers. I'm sure there's a good book on that out there. There's a lot of fantastic books on the Oriental, Asian, Japanese, sumie approaches to flowers. I kind of talked about the symbolic of shapes, so using just symbolic darks to represent leaves. Not sure if I like the outlining of the petals with the black. A lot of little the buds in the fake flowers just kind of coming up. So talking about like positives and negatives, I'm just kind of rambling. I personally just kind of the belief that there's a big connection between still lives and portrait work, because you often see people that do portrait work do still lives, and I feel like there's just kind of a just a separation between those and landscapes. But on the other side of the coin, when I was watching a lot of David Lefelt, who is just a master, just absolute master, he was talking about how atmospheric perspective, how you can kind of look for that within still lives and within the face, and that really just surprised me. That a lot of it is just, you know, painting what you see. I'm playing with just the contouring. I'm trying to use that direction to push the way the flower is facing. Is my hand making it go out of focus? I'm looking at the camera. In focus, in focus. Mm-hmm. All right, so about 24 minutes into this, I'm going to wrap it up in a few just kind of ideas and speculations as I wrap this up. One of the things that I really have trouble with these type of mediums is just the mess that they can produce, where these guys, not being charcoal, aren't going to be on the darker side of things, or on the messier side of things, because of the wax or whatever's in it. But it still can kind of build up some of that, and that you can knock that off. I have the, what's it called? The spray fixative. And it's a workable fixative. I've used that in the past. You spray it so you can work on top of it. But I don't know why there's that versus just, like, let's say a spray varnish. Like you spray fixative and then eventually varnish. And I looked up something like that online about varnishing charcoal. And like I said, this is Conte. Is that there was a video where a gentleman would spray fixative and just do, well, you did hyper realistic, just fantastic works. And he would spray fixative, and then from there would brush his varnish on top of it. So part of me wonders, can you just jump right into the spray varnish and just spray varnish it? The other part is just, since I don't want to spray inside the art room, you have to go outside. And if I was to work multiple layers and work on top of it, I would have to go in and out to spray stuff. That sounds kind of like just a complaint on my half. So. And also the fact that I just always have a tendency to use my hand smudging things. So I gotta put my stems and stalks inside here. It's my finger. For painting, the artists use a maul to lean against. I wonder if I could just slide a piece of paper on top. And then since I'm working with red flowers, part of me thinks redder, and maybe, you know, try some of the other versions, the other colors, which I will look into. So I do have one Van Gogh pastel that I had bought. Let's just see how it is on top of it. I think this is the oil pastel. Ooh. Okay, so it caught good and like buttery there. I can feel the difference. I think even though it feels really nice, and if I have it on hand, I'll use it, I don't think I would add it to these. It does add a good effect to it though, like kind of a painterly type mark compared to, let's do another. I wonder if I just had smudged those areas so I can't even go on top of it now. Let's see. There's the one versus the other. It does add a little extra pizzazz. So maybe it might be worth just having one out for the final touches. The reason I had gotten that, I watched a video for the summer on Trois Crayon on one of the techniques. The gentleman had I think a Rembrandt brand white used on top. Anywho, just random painting and, well, drawing and speculating. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that this is inspirational in some way, shape, or form. Like I said, I have that Kickstarter that I'm looking to do, kind of just a very linear, focused series on oil painting in the miniature format. So I'll have a link down below if you want to check that out, if you want to support that idea. And that would be for, you know, a free series, but, you know, to cover materials. Then, of course, there's the Patreon. I have exclusive stuff on there all the time. And once again, thank you. And simply liking and subscribing really helps this channel out a lot. It probably does something with some sort of algorithm. Just get a bit of movement going. Did that there. A bit of rounding. Let's see, what can I sign this with? Let's see how so this is a pedometric, the pedograph on top with the platinum carbon ink. There we go. All right, so I hope you enjoyed, and I will be back soon. You'll have a great day, and thank you for watching. Bye.